Hi, I'm JD, and what we're going to be doing today is a confidence interval for a proportion. The problem reads, and I'm just going to do this by hand. I'm going to use the calculator to make calculations. 30% of adult Americans are regular voters from a source. You did a sampling, a random sample of 250 adults in a college town were surveyed, and it was found that 115 were regular voters. Estimate the true proportion of regular voters with a confidence interval of 95% and comment on your results. Alright, so pause the video and see if you can try to do this one on your own. Alright, now here's the formula. You have p hat minus z alpha over 2, and then you have p hat times q hat over n, and you're trying to estimate p, which is your proportion of the population, and then p hat plus z alpha over 2 square root of p hat q hat over n. So what you need to find first is p hat. P hat is the proportion of successes in relation to your sample. So here your sample is of the 250, and out of 250 adults, 115 were regular voters. So 115 out of 250. I'm going to do that on my calculator. So 115 divided by 250 gives me 0.46. So that means my q hat is 1 minus that, which would be 0.54. Now, in relation to my z-score, it's a 95% confidence interval, and that's one of the most common ones. So I have this little table that I made: 90%, 1.65, 95%, 1.96, and for a 99% confidence interval, it's 2.58. Since it's a 95% confidence interval, that means my z-score is 1.96. Alright, so write everything else. So you have 0.46. Your z is 1.96. Now here's your standard error. So it's 0.46 times 0.54 over n, and n is your sample size, which is 250. Now the other side is going to be the same, except the sign changes to a plus because it's above. So it's going to be 0.46 plus 1.96. 0.46 times 0.54 over 250. And now type this in into your calculator. And since you're dealing with proportions, you would round to 3 decimal places. 0.46 minus 1.96 square root 0.46 times 0.54 divided by 250, and I get 0.398. Now above, what you can do is click on the arrows, highlight it, click enter, acts like a little copy and paste thing, go over and then just change the minus sign to a plus. Then hit enter and you get 0.522. Now it's saying, based upon my calculation, that the proportion is somehow between, and this is based upon my sample, 0.398 and 0.522. Now look at the original comment, 30% of adult Americans are regular voters. Well, based upon what I found on my confidence interval, 30% is not there. 30% does not fall in between these two. So what that means is I highly suspect that there's an error with what was given to me from that other source. But this would be your interval right here. And that's it.